Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust sent an urgent letter to the club. Sporting director role is going to remain vacant for the moment. And Fabrizio Romano states Porro is not for sale. Here are your daily Tottenham news headlines. Hi everyone, hope you're well. Welcome back to the channel to another edition of the Daily Tottenham News Headlines, where I'll be going through all the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. I'm leader Dorset Spur, and if you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. So let's get into it. The Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust have sent an urgent letter to the club's board. A statement released on the Supporters Trust says, the Trust has written to Peter Charrington and the club's non-executive chairman following his recent letter to supporters. The Trust welcomed the acknowledgement of both Mr Charrington and the Lewis family that the past 2 seasons have been unacceptable and that football success has not been the driving factor behind key decisions. However, the letter also reflected members' concerns that there has been insufficient recognition of decisions taken during the current season that contributed to the club's decline, despite repeated warnings from the supporters' representatives. The Trust made it clear that supporters' trust and confidence in the club's leadership has reached an historic low, and that fans now want to see meaningful action rather than further promises. The Trust letter emphasised the need for leadership with proven elite football expertise, urgent strengthening of the squad and a significant change in approach to demonstrate that lessons have been learned. We stress that this summer represents both a critical opportunity and a critical challenge for the club. The coming months will be crucial in rebuilding not only the team on the pitch, but also the supporters' trust and confidence of it. While the Supporters Trust welcomes the commitments made by the club and its owners, the message from supporters is clear. Actions must now match the words. We will carefully assess both the club's response to our letter and, more importantly, the actions it takes in the weeks and months ahead. We recognise that many members believe the club has reached a critical juncture, and we will continue to engage with the club on the supporters' behalf while monitoring developments closely. The message from members is simple. The commitment to put football first must now become a reality. Sky Sports in England and Sky Germany have reported that Sebastian Kehl will not become Tottenham's new co-sporting director. The 46-year-old had been the recent frontrunner and held talks regarding the role, but that has decided an agreement cannot be reached. Roberto De Zerbi will have a big say on transfers this summer and who the new sporting director will be. Dougie Freeman, a sporting director currently working in Saudi, has previously worked at Crystal Palace in the same role, had also been a candidate previously. Italian journalist and transfer expert Fabrizio Romano has stated he understands Tottenham manager Roberto De Zerbi see Pedro Porro as a crucial player, and the club also don't want him to leave. Despite reports, Tottenham want Porro to stay. So, my views on these topics. Well, I do believe that the Supporters Trust letter does reflect a lot of the feelings from the fans, for sure. We all want to see the club do what it says it's going to do. Let's look at the wage structure. Let's look at the type of player we're buying. Let's make sure we get expertise in the right positions, a sporting director and all that kind of stuff. Let's do all of those things. But let's not just talk about it. Let's do it. Actions speak louder than words, for sure. However, I do feel the Supporters Trust kind of have really, and this is a personal view, but the Supporters Trust kind of let themselves down by jumping the gun over the Roberto De Zerbi signing. voicing an opinion based that this is a Tottenham fan view, that he wasn't the right man and all the rest of it, without actually asking the fans what they wanted and the members of the trust what they wanted. They kind of just went on their own thing, and I think that's impacted them and hurt their credibility a fair bit, to be fair. And I think they're going to have to work hard to change that. But this letter is fairly clear on what it's asking for, and it is the sort of thing that the Tottenham fans have been talking about. Certainly it is my view that words mean a lot. They've gone on a charm offensive at the moment. You know, we've heard from Charrington, we've heard from the Lewis family, we've heard from De Zerbi, we've heard from Johan Langer, we've heard from all of these people, but you need to be hearing from them in the bad times as well, to say what exactly going to happen. There's no point them only being able to talk to us when it's going well or good things are happening. We need to hear from them in the bad times to calm people's nerves and set out what's actually going to happen in the future, for sure. So I do welcome the letter that they've sent, but I don't believe that the trust are as important to the club as the club would make out, and certainly how the Supporters Trust think that they are. So Sebastian Kell not becoming the sporting director. Listen, for me, at the end of this all, if he can't make an agreement with this club because he doesn't want the manager to have a big say on transfers, then for me that's a concern, and I think we've dodged a bullet. I want the sporting director to be working very, very closely with the manager of the men's team, and with those that are looking after the under 21s and the youth teams and all the rest of it, because I want a common process, I want a common view, I want a common style. I want it to go all the way through the club so that we can promote those players into the first team in the longer run, rather than having to trawl around and find experienced players all the time. I want to see, if the manager moves on, the style stays the same. The players coming through know the style; they can adapt to the style from all the way through the different levels. So for me, if he can't see that vision, if he can't work with having input from other people, especially the person who's going to have to look after those players that he signs, then for me we've dodged the bullet. So we'll see where it goes. But absolutely, we do need a sporting director, for sure, someone who has football experience, someone who has the footballing knowledge, and someone who can attract those right sort of players, the big players that this club deserves to have. And finally, Fabrizio Romano and Pedro Porro staying. I'm not surprised at that, to be honest with you. I'm not surprised at all. There has been a little bit of talk of Porro around a few different clubs and so on. But I think Porro is very good going forward. He provides good crosses. When he does it, he can score goals and so on. For me, my big concern is around his defending. But if he can get the basics right, if he can get that defending right, then you've got a player in there who can actually hurt opponents, and that's what I want to see from him. So, for me, I don't see Porro moving on. I do think that De Zerbi likes him. He's been trusted by every coach we've had. He's played an awful lot of football, very rarely gets injured. So, it makes complete sense to me for him to stay. So I don't think there's an awful lot in that story. So yeah, I'm all for that. I'm all for Romano. I'm posting that out there, and if he says that's true, then hopefully that is the case. So, but anyway, that's it from me. Nice and short and sweet today. Thanks for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe. If you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. I'm Leader Dorset Spur. I do have my own channel, so if you'd like to pop over and say hi to me, I'd be more than grateful to have you there. But until the next one, I'll leave it there. And as always, up the Spurs.